Hello everyone, welcome back to another look into Audacity's inbuilt tools, and we're going to compare them a little bit more to MuseFX. This is going to be a little bit more of a deep dive, so if there's anything you do not understand, if I say a term you do not know, and I forget to tell you what it is, please leave a comment, and I will respond as soon as I can. I forget to say things sometimes, but that's okay. Moving on. So, I've selected the track we're going to use. This is One Heart. This is actually one of my more popular songs. I was in the process of switching distributors, so I was redoing a few songs off of We Are Me before I put it back out under SoundCloud. And this is one of them, so I figured, you know what? This is a good chance to go through and we can look at how to do this. Because this actually does have kind of some of the harsh S's for de-essing and compression. Most songs need some form of compression, so that's okay as far as that goes. So this is what, because we're looking at this area right here, about the like 107 to the like almost 135 markish.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal space. You're but fiction, a hollow scream, my creation, my shattered dream.
So we're going to look at how to tame the harshness and smooth out levels. Compression, as I've said in the past, the definition of compression is pretty straightforward. You're just smoothing out your sound. You're bringing your highs and your lows closer together. Pretty straightforward, right? And de-essing is just what it sounds like. You're de-essing. You're toning out or harsh S sounds. First off, we're going to go over the MuseFX workflow. As I mean, we looked at it before, but we're going to do a little bit more I can't even think of the word. It's fine. It's everything fine. So first off, we're going to go to effects. Whoops. And again, links will be in the description for everything. Okay, let's try that again. de-ess. Okay, so there's a lot of sections in here you can do, which I'm just going to stick with female voice for this look at it. But there's harshness, which this song, actually, the S's aren't harsh. They do need touched up a little bit, though. Male voice, so if this is a male singer and have the S's had the same sound they do, I would probably just use male voice. For this song, I think we're probably fine in the halfway point. This is your measure of change. You don't always need to be halfway, sometimes just a tiny bit down here, or maybe you do need it all the way up here. That's going to depend on your song. Individually, you're going to have to play with it to see what works best for the particular song you're looking at. Sibilance, there's this, which I might... Actually, yeah, you know, we're going to use this just to... And then I'm going to go back and do the female voice one, just so we can compare it. So actually, let's go ahead and do this one, halfway. Sorry, I am congested from allergies.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal space. You're but fiction, a hollow scream.
So we're gonna undo that and go back in and do, and then we're gonna do female voice and play it again.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors.
And I can already tell you without even finishing that is and you can hear it too, there is a very, very minimal difference between those two. You will find tutorials that sometimes tell you do this first or that first. And there is certain things that, if I'm being quite honest, are a personal preference. That's very true. That's just how it is with some things. Me personally, do your de-essing first, so when you compress, you're getting your smoothest vocals. If that's all you need to change the vocals first, anyway, is do the... Oh, geez. So you get your cleanest vocals compressed. That's my personal way of liking it, and I recommend doing that is if you're using MuseFX anyway. Because different tools do things differently, so that is something to consider. After you do that, you're going to... So, did I undo that? No, I did. Yes, I did. Okay, so we're going to go back and, if I can use the menus correctly and talk. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and compress that section. Vocal right, I think, is probably best for this one. And as with de-essing, this is your level of change is the simple way to put it. I'll get more into detail about that when we talk about using Audacity's built-in tools. That's, yeah, I'll leave it halfway for this one. And if you look at that waveform for that area, it has changed. There is a difference. So we're going to go and play that now.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal space. You're but fiction, a hollow scream, my creation, my shattered dream.
Coffee. So that's what that cleaned up sounds like with the MuseFX. Compression in MuseFX, it's like you saw, has a lot of different options, a lot of different variation, which I'll bring that back up again. Let's look at, just for comparison, let's do pop vocals. Oh my, that's a massive change. That's a very obvious change. Middle ground for this one. Pop vocals might be too much, but let's play it and just see how it sounds.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal space. You're but fiction.
I lied. Personally, I actually love the way that sounds. I'd have to do it with the entire song, play the whole thing, see if there's anything I don't like or maybe it does wrong. I'd have to actually do the whole song. But I'm trying not to make this too long for you all, so... But that actually works really surprisingly well. But that's MuseFX. We've gone over it before, but I wanted to bring it up again since we're actually looking at the inbuilt tools for Audacity for this one. Here's the thing with de-essing in Audacity. It doesn't have a true de-esser built in. And another plugin that you can actually use, that I will link in the description as well, is the, what's the name? Nyquist de-esser. It's a plugin you can get that is a dedicated solution. I'll link it to, I don't actually have it installed, I don't use it, I like MuseFX, and there's also another way we're going to show you here in just a second to de-ess with the built-in Audacity tools. So let's look at that now. To do it in Audacity, you're going to use the filter curve EQ option, which, see right here, there's actually, yeah, why would I link it? It's right here. I forgot it was in the menu here. Ignore me. I know what I'm talking about like 95% of the time. This was one of those 5%. That's fine. Everything's fine. What was I doing? Effects. I need the filter curve EQ right here. This is what we're going to look at. So, and actually I have it from playing around with things in the past. It has an option right here. So what you want to do with this is around the 5,000 to 10,000 hertz area. So right in here. I have this one set at, what am I at? 6,100 hertz to, around right here. So I don't have it, I have it in that range. So what you want to do is, and from playing with this, because I play with it sometimes, I wanted to make sure I had it locked in before I recorded this. This -6 is too much. So we're going to pick that up to maybe right here. I'm going to tell you right now, keep it subtle. You don't need a big reduction when you're doing this way. You just need a nice, subtle change. And then if you need a little bit more after you do that, play it, see how it sounds. You need a little bit more, okay. But don't start out major. It's a lot easier to go up in minute settings until you get what you want than it is to go back down, because you don't know how much you need to go back down. So I'm going to adjust... Actually, I'm going to do... You know, right there, just below -3. We're going to apply that and see how it sounds.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal space, you're but fiction.
Okay, so that was a minor change, which is fine for this song because it's not super harsh in this song anyway. But just to show you, let me go back into I undid that. Let me go back into here. We're going to take this and I'm going to do where I was playing around with it. I'm going to show you 6.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal.
I know it's hard to hear, but it is there. That is more so. And to me, that was too much. Also, though, I'm the one here sitting with the headphones on, playing it directly, and you don't have it, because I have it toned down a little bit for the recording. So it's probably harder for you all to hear, but trust me, there is a difference, and actually, just so you can hear it more so, that's not the right tool. Filter Q. Let me move this over a little bit. That over to 10,000. Oop, that's not 10,000. That is. We're going to do this.
Silent screams, voids embrace.
And as you can see, the bigger change you make, the more noticeable it gets. Also, why did my phone go off? That is work, and I don't care what you want. It's my day off. Fun fact, I travel for work, so I don't have like a building or anything I'm in charge of, and let me just say that is wonderful. Because it gives me more time to do this stuff for you all. So now we're going to look at compression. So it's still in effects. So we're going to go to volume and compression this time, and we're going to look at the compressor. I promise this is not actually as complicated as it looks. So the first point we're going to look at is the threshold, which is really just where compression kicks in. Makeup gain is your boost after compression, which I'm gonna say 5. Knee width is what's a simple way to put knee width? It's how gradual or sharp the transition is around your threshold, which 5. We'll go with 5. That's fine. Ratio is how long it, or sorry, no, that's release. How strongly above the sorry, that's wrong. How strongly levels above the threshold are reduced. So 3 to, we'll leave that at 3. I think that's a good baseline number to go with. So next is your smoothing. The look ahead it's in milliseconds is just it lets the compressor like peak ahead or look ahead to catch sudden peaks more naturally. Which let's do 5. Your attack, which again is in the same words are hard sometimes, sorry. Same measurement as a look ahead. Your attack though, it's how quickly it reacts after your signal passes the threshold. Which 10, for this example, 10 should be fine. And then your release is how long compression how long it takes to stop compressing after the signal drops below the threshold. So I think this is probably just a good baseline settings. I'm not worried about how this makes it sound. We're just testing it out using this as an example. Let's go ahead and apply that. And there you can see that was a big difference in the pattern of the song.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal space, you're but fiction. A hollow scream, my creation, my shattered dream.
And that is with those basic settings. Now, just to go back and so you guys can hear what it is. We'll undo those real quick, and you can take a listen again.
Silent screams, voids embrace, endless mirrors, my eternal space. You're but fiction, a hollow scream, my creation.
Alright, so that is obviously a marked difference. Which one should you use? MuseFX or just use built-in tools? Honestly, that is personal preference. Like for me, I can pull up the... If I open this filter curve, I know if because filter curve, all I ever use that for personally is sibilance with de-essing. That's all I ever use it for. So this, not that big a deal. Use whatever you want. If you're not comfortable messing with the graph, then use something like MuseFX that has a nice direct interface for de-essing. But that's personal preference. Now with compressor, and honestly compression, it's kind of the same thing. There's a lot of presets and settings. If you're more comfortable with this than putting in the numbers manually, then use this. It's a nice... I guess the curve is smoother would be the way to put it. And the interface is easier, don't get me wrong. But again, it comes down to personal preference. With Audacity's built-in tools, it is a lot easier to make minute adjustments than it is with MuseFX, but MuseFX is also a much simpler user interface, and if you're just starting out, MuseFX is probably your best bet. Now, if you really want to get in there, learn, know what you're doing, be able to do all that stuff, then by all means, if you want to start with Audacity's built-in stuff, go for it. Now, a couple things. And this applies to both Audacity and MuseFX. Let me pull up the menu so I have it. So, when you're looking at this stuff, you don't want too much or too low of a threshold. It can, how do I put this? Squash it, almost. And same thing with de-essing. You really only need it on harsh consonants. So for this song, 15, these numbers that I put in actually worked pretty well for 1 heart. That being said, are there probably more optimal settings I could figure out if I sat here and actually looked at it? Yes, everything has an optimal. Do you necessarily need optimal? No. For me, music's not about optimal. Like, I love doing narrative albums. Like the one I just put out on SoundCloud. It'll be on Spotify in a few days after this. I say a few days, it's almost a week. I lied. Don't listen to that. It'll be closer to a week. I think I set it for the 8th. But I forgot where I was going with that. I'm gonna be honest there. That is totally gone. So back to what I was saying then instead. Since I lost that thought, that was gone just immediately. A lot of this is going to come down to what song, as I've said in the past, what song you're working on. A threshold of this minus 15, for this song, these settings work great. For another one off of We Are Me, we'll say All That Is Me. It might be absolutely atrocious and ruin the song. I won't know until I get in there and play with it. So, recap. Compression balances your levels. De-essing smooths out harshness. With both Audacity and MuseFX, it's free. Is there some paid stuff for it? Yes. But you can get really great, I would say, pro-sounding vocals for free with this tool. If you are by yourself, this is absolutely great. I highly recommend it. Of all of the software like this I have tried, Audacity is probably my favorite. If you enjoyed this and you want to check out, I have other Audacity tutorials. At the time of recording this, I only have the 2 that I did that are absolutely bare bones, simple. You're just starting out with MuseFX in Audacity. They're very straightforward, very simple, didn't go into anything over the top. Now, if you have any questions, leave a comment. I will be doing a whole series like this that is about the actual inbuilt tools and comparing them with MuseFX. So if you have any questions, or if you have something specific you want me to go over next time, leave a comment. I'll get back to you with it. I'll make a video if I need to. But like, subscribe, do all the things. Check out SoundCloud, Spotify, all of that. And I will see everyone next time.